computational abilities these days. So that has made it possible. Some knew how to convert, or knew that it can be convertible, but they did not know how to convert it in a controllable way. Now, if you see the next development after 2000 years almost, in 1888, that means 90s, 1900, say around, say 2001 year to 2100 year after, Charles F. Brass developed first energy producing windmill in Cleveland, Ohio. So then 2000 years gone just to have, commercial generation. Now again, another 100 years, say 1888 to 1980, another first, many of you, I don't know, were not born at that time also, 1970s and all, the thyristors came commercially that day, those in that year. So because thyristors, if you see, they are the main building block for the rectifier units. And till now, no device has been able to because of several reasons that we are not to discuss, because other things are there. So see, then the first switching device, rugged switching device came, thyristors, 1970. And 1980, around 100 years after, the modern wind turbines were constructed. Now past 29, this has become another 40 years. Newer, better and designed wind turbines and general control have been developed with the advent of power electronics technology along with the processors. Okay, so then if you see the structure of windmill, it was in 200 BC. It was looking like this. They used to have their irrigation systems. If you see the irrigation lands, they are in behind. So this is what. Now, if you see, I will give you some statistical data also, because although it is old, so new data I could not find. So if you see the 2008 data, so around 10, 12 years back, if you see, India is here in terms of wind power. So if you see 1, 2, 3, 4, and India in 5th position compared to other countries. Okay, US, Germany, Spain, and China, they were leading. So now even scenario has changed. India has surpassed a few countries like Spain and all, right? So if you see, India has got a good potential of wind energy, and it is using also. Now, this is in 2015, this is the data. Maybe I have having 2016 data also. Unfortunately, this data is presented here. So 2016 data is somewhat more. So here in India, among the different the renewable powers, so this is the position of wind power. So we generate 20 gigawatt. So nowadays it is 24 or 25 gigawatt, I think, in 2019. So 20 gigawatt, it is more than even solar power, more than even small hydro, biomass, and the other cogeneration units and waste power, etc., etc. So we have a largest, you can say, opportunity to generate wind turbines and getting jobs and researches, etc., etc. So now this is, I think, it's a 2016 data again, MNRE data. So this is your wind, this is your wind, and this is biomass, SHP, solar. So wind is 27 gigawatt. So I'm sorry to say this. I was saying 25. So 2016 is 27 gigawatt. Okay. So even it is increasing. Its rate is high. So we have high potential. Now it is again global scenario. If you see, from 1996 onwards we have taken. So the black one is wind and the green one is solar PV. So we always generate, try to compare both this, because these are the two major players that are getting introduced very fast. Say in 2020, wind has a larger scope, even more than double in the world scenario compared to the PV. Okay, so this is what. And secondly, there are new technologies that are coming up with variable speed technology, easy control of active and reactive power flows. This is a requirement. Rotors should act as flywheel, no flicker problems, high cost, although because power electronic cost is high. So now we will now discuss the technology. Okay, we'll discuss the technology. So, okay, is it okay? Am I audible to you? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So now we start discussing the technology. It is getting mechanical power. That means there is a mechanical energy content, kinetic energy content in the wind, and then we have to convert it to electricity. And as we see, the generating mechanical energy is converted to electricity through rotating generators, right? Generators which have a rotating prime mover. So this linear velocity of wind then has to be converted to an angular velocity, rather an angular momentum sort of thing, and that is achieved with the help of wind turbines. Now the wind turbines can have different structures, though I'm not discussing that one. Maybe I will show a few slides. Different structures. That means there are two basic type of wind turbines. One is known as horizontal axis wind turbines. One is known as vertical axis wind turbines. Now, these we discuss regarding horizontal axis. So, vertical axis we will show. Horizontal axis means the axis of the turbines is horizontal. Okay. Now, it can have different number of blades. It can have single blade. It can have double blade, triple blade, multi blade. So the discussion is general. So, I am showing it with a triple blade. A general horizontal axis wind turbine situation. Now the wind blows horizontally and this turbine rotates actually with an at a rotational speed with axis as horizontal, right? Now the turbine blades, they have got adjustable angles. So these angles are known as pitch angles. Okay, so pitch angle means it can rotate in a plane vertical to the horizontal axis, and with it can have some angles. Like if this pitch angle is 0 degree, that means it is 100% flat. That means it is perpendicular to the horizontal wind coming. So the blockage of wind is maximum. So it will be extracting high power. That means the wind speed velocity also. Velocity of the turbine also, rotational speed of the turbine also will be high. Now, if the theta is increasing, say 1 degree, 2 degree, 10 degree, so part of the wind is actually passed through the blades. So the energy conversion will not be 100%. Okay. So we always allow certain wind when the wind velocity becomes high. So then with the help of this pitch angle controller, pitch angle, right? Now there is a term known as tip speed ratio. Now if you see the turbine rotates, and these blades have certain rotates, and it covers an area which is circular in nature, okay, which has a radius of r equal to the length of the blade almost. If we neglect the center point from the turbine blade starting point, okay, because this is usually neglected. This is lower compared to the blade length. So then tip speed, that means the linear velocity of this is omega into r, linear velocity. If r is the radius of the, say, swept area, radius of the swept area which is circular in nature, and then omega is the rotational speed of the turbine. So omega into r will give you a linear speed at the tip of the blades. Now V1 here is the speed of the wind speed of the winds. Okay. So now the ratio of these two, that means the ratio of the tip speed to the wind turbine, to the wind velocity, is known as tip speed ratio lambda. That means U by V1, that is omega r by V1. Okay. Now if you plot, now all these turbines, as I have said, will not be able to convert 100% power. So some wind will be always passed because the blades cannot cover up the full area. And then if you see, there is a term known as coefficient of power. Coefficient of power means actually it is in per unit. So how much power we convert in per unit. Now if you see, if you plot the coefficient of power with, say, tip speed ratio for different pitch angles. Now you see for pitch angle 1 degree, that means almost flat. You see that generated power is highest among the other pitch angles. So if the pitch angle is increased 3 degree, 5 degree, 7 degree, 9 degree, 11 degree, etc., so we get reduced power, right? And this nonlinear, highly nonlinear plot we get with Cp versus lambda, tip speed ratio. And then this is the relationship. So developed power is actually Cp into P in. That means P in is the power content in the wind. Now Cp is, supposing we are having lambda of 10 and we have a 10 degree, 1 degree of say pitch angle. So lambda of 10 at 1 degree of pitch angle will give you a Cp of say 0.47. Let us say 0.47. That means 47% of available power we are actually converting, right? Now for same lambda 10, if we just reduce the angle, increase the angle to 5 degree, it becomes 0.35. So only 35% of power we convert. So we have to adjust the pitch angle based on the available tip speed ratio and the based on the available wind speed. Tip speed ratio means wind speed actually. Because wind speed varies, omega also will vary. So there is a ratio, that ratio will vary. So then P is actually Cp into P in, and Cp, as I have said, is a complex function of lambda and theta. So is actually half Cp lambda theta. Hello? 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 There is some noise. Half Cp into lambda theta into rho AT V1 cube. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Some
Yes,
noise
sir.
I am hearing. So,
Okay, sir. Please, anyone, please, if you have any noise, please mute your mic.
okay, all right. So half Cp, Cp is a function of lambda theta and rho AT into V1 cube. So rho is actually the density of wind. AT is the swept area, which is actually pi r square. And V1 is the with a strong dependency with V1. That means if V1 varies by 10%, so the wind velocity, the generated power will vary 1.1 power 3. So around 32%, 30 to 33% variation will be there in the developed power. So therefore, as I am saying that the wind speed is not a constant function. So it has a very unpredictable nature. It can vary even 2 times, 3 times, 4 times in the span of say 10 minutes, 15 minutes time. So therefore, the developed power has a wide say variable in nature, has a wide variation, right? Okay. So therefore, actually controlling this power is a challenge for the modern day researchers. So this is what, and again we go for the torque. Okay, so now when we couple this wind turbine to a generator, that means we get similar sort of torque curve, because this is actually, if we again plot to torque curve with generator speed for different wind velocities, right? Different wind velocities, similar way, different wind velocities. Say it is for a constant opening even. So we have a constant opening like that pitch angle. So then you see that pitch angle can vary because that will vary the generator speed. Now, if we plot the generator torque and generator speed for different wind velocities, the plot becomes this. That means we can have a situation, say for a particular generator speed, say this one is my speed, we can have a situation where for an 8 meter per second, we can have maximum power. That means we will try to operate for all possible wind velocities at these points where we generate maximum torque. That means maximum torque means actually maximum generation, you can say maximum generation, because input torque, if you see, it is normally converted with the help of induction generators or synchronous generators. So the input torque will actually give you the power variation omega t. So omega t will give you the power. So the generated power will be almost maximum at these points. So therefore, you see that the input that operating points should actually trace this maximum torque situations, right? And again, there is a rated torque for the wind generators, right? So if you design a system, say your turbine has to give say 100 Newton meter torque, and at the same time motor will be also able to give you a torque of slightly lesser, say 90 Newton meter torque. So therefore, for the motor torque of 90 Newton meter, so you cannot reach a situation where the developed torque or the torque requirement is more than the rated one, because this will actually create unnecessary torsion in the torsional stress on the shaft, and then ultimately the system will be destroyed. So therefore, we should limit our torque to a rated value. So therefore, then the right side curve actually shows you the traced points of the maximum torque situations, and then where it reaches the rated torque, we have to do some control. We have to undergo through some control technique so that we retain this rated torque, although actual torque is high. That means we will control the pitch angle. We can control the machine flux in order to reduce the torque to the rated value. And then there are certain points we are arriving at. Now here see, at 2 meter per second, it is general 2 meter per second. The generated torque is this, and we have a generator speed of this. So now this point, so point B, let us say this point B, and there is a very near point to A, and if we reduce the speed to say 1 or 1.5 meter per second, we almost reach 0 point. So then this point is known as the cut-in speed for the turbine. So what is the cut-in speed? That means the speed at which it starts generating. Oh, this is known as cut-in speed. Now say below that, actually below that wind speed, no generation is possible, right? So nowadays the cut-in speed, although we have it is a theoretical plot, nowadays for the smaller wind turbines, the cut-in speed is around say 3.5 to 4 meter per second, right? And for the large turbines, it is 4.5 usually, 4.5 to 5. 4.5 is very usual. Okay, so 3.5 is for the smaller turbines, and 4.5 is for the larger turbines. So then the new research has been carried out just to lower this cut-in speed value, or rather even at lower values, as even though the power generated is less, so we are able to connect the system to the grid. Otherwise, actually, connection and disconnection, it takes a lot of pre-work. That means a lot of say inputs into the machine, and then machine parameter variations and all, and that sometimes prevents the synchronization. That means prevents the connection. So you cannot connect it unless and until the generated voltage actually is in phase, like the synchronization is in phase with the actual voltage.